And a group of them is called a tower, so that is a tower of giraffes. The females are more around 16 feet tall. But as you can see, all of the animals here are free roaming, so they have the right to go wherever they please. But they don't like to stay in one place for too long. And when they go from place to place, sometimes they have to cross the road to do so, which happens a lot here. Usually it's pretty quick, but sometimes they like to take their time or just stop right in the middle of the road. Either way, it's pretty entertaining if you're a truck that is right behind an animal. But if you're a couple of trucks behind that one, then it's just a nice little waiting game. Now coming up on your left-hand side, you're going to see some antelopes. You're going to see some sable antelopes. They're pretty significant because they're the emblem of Rahman Reserve. So there's also some baby sable antelopes as well. They kind of look like goats because they don't quite have their horns yet. They just have little spikes. They're one of the only antelopes that will not back down from a fight if faced with a predator. And if you see the darkest one on the very edge with the perfectly curved horns, he's the male. If you see these reddish brown things that are all over the place that kind of look like anthills, they're actually termite mounds. They're as hard as concrete, so a lot of animals like to use them as back scratchers. But they're not as solid as concrete, so when they do get their, back scratched upon them, they get worn down pretty easily. And when they get worn down very low, smaller animals like to use them to look out for predators or to hide behind. There are all those giraffes again. Now if you keep your eyes to the right, kind of on the far right, you might be able to see those two huge pairs of horns off in the distance in between the bushes. Those belong to Ankole cattle, and those horns on their head can grow to be about 3 to 6 feet long, which is why you can see them all the way from here. But they're not as heavy as they look. They're actually honeycombed on the inside, which also helps the blood circulation to help keep them cooled down. Hopefully we'll get to see them again. Although you will get to see a sandy-colored antelope. She's kind of right in front of the baobab tree on your right. She's kind of standing on her own right over there.
Yeah.
That is a Patterson's eland. She's the tallest antelope in Africa. She also has a dewlap on her neck, which has the same functionality as a camel's hump, which basically means that it holds fat so she can go long periods of time without having to drink any water. Now we're slowly making our way on into Monkey Point, so we're probably going to get to see some monkeys up ahead. The monkeys at Monkey Point are mandrills, and they're the largest monkeys in the world. But they're better known for their red and blue faces, so kind of like Rafiki. Although Rafiki has a very long, skinny tail, and mandrills typically have very short, fluffy tails. Male mandrills weigh around 100 pounds, and they have red noses. Females weigh around 30 pounds, and they have black noses. Males also have the more colorful faces, while females are more in the bluish-purple range. And usually I would say sometimes on your right-hand side you might get to see an elephant, but actually definitely coming up on your right-hand side, you're also going to see an elephant. So on your left, they're going to be the monkeys, and on your right, you're going to see an elephant. We just got to wait our turn. But all the monkeys are kind of walking around through the bushes and the trees. Because although they're very social, they're pretty shy. And all the way on the right, you're going to see that male elephant. Now I say that's a male because when male elephants reach adulthood, they leave the herd and live on their own. So herds of elephants are made up of mothers and their babies. We actually might get a closer view of that male elephant a little bit further up ahead. Yep, he's gonna be a lot closer. So if you have your cameras up and ready, he's gonna be right there.
Alright, see him now, eh?
Now we're actually heading on into elephant country coming around here, so hopefully we'll get to see more than just the one. Although, from this angle you can tell on his back, if you see that dirt or sand, elephants put that on their back to act as a natural sunblock. Because they have very sensitive skin, even though it is about 1.5 inches thick. Now you can tell that we're entering on into elephant country because if you look to your left or your right, in that red clay you're going to see some tusk marks and footprints. That's because elephants like to eat red clay to get vitamins and minerals that they don't get in their everyday diet. Kind of like a multivitamin. Now, fun fact about mother elephants and their babies. Mother elephants stay pregnant for 22 months, which is almost 2 years. And when they give birth, their babies weigh 250 pounds, which actually make them the largest baby. But thankfully, they only produce about 1 calf at a time, and it is every 5 to 9 years on average that they do give birth. But let's see if there are anything awake yet. Although I don't see any elephants quite yet, if you remember those Angoli cattle I mentioned earlier with the huge horns of theirs that can be seen from a distance, they're going to be on your right. Right back there. Now if you keep your eyes to the lower left, you're going to see this island full of greater flamingos. Flamingos are born a dark gray color, and it takes 1 year of eating brine shrimp for them to turn pink. Greater flamingos like these are the lightest pink of flamingos. Sometimes they're even a white color. It's actually lesser flamingos that are more pink all over. And a group of flamingos is not called a flock, it is called a flamboyance. So this here is a flamboyance of flamingos. Now as we leave elephant country,